Yeah, to me, it feels a lot more familiar. You know, last year we did have a new bike, and this year our testing continued from the base setup that we had. So I think it feels familiar, and that initial shock of having a new bike is gone, and we can just kind of do our work and go into the season without, worrying too much or having to prove the bike. We know that the bike can win, and yeah, so basically we were just trying to improve from last year, and I think as of right now we did as well. Luckily, we still have a couple of weeks here to go until we start racing. So overall, though, I feel like we're in a solid spot so far.
Yeah, I would say the same. When I first turned pro, I was super excited to get a new bike, and then on the 250. But I realized quickly that it takes a lot of time and effort to build a bike into something that can win consistently. And so for last year, first year on the 450 and supercross, trying to learn that as well as learning a new bike was pretty difficult for me, learning where I can push and where I can't. So it obviously bit me a few times last year, and then now this year, like Ken said, I feel like we have that base to kind of build off of and something that we can improve on. So I would say testings went a lot smoother this year. I've learned a lot from last year and applied it to this season so far. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think we have a better package coming into this year.
So obviously you guys work very closely with your own mechanics and your own suspension guys and the engine and all that. But like as far as you guys talking to each other, are your riding styles compatible? I mean, if you try something, would you ask about it or vice versa? Or
I mean, I think, what we did this year helped us out a lot as we were all learning from each other, even the 250 guys, and we were learning from the 250 guys. So with us sharing a bunch of stuff, we can run through some test things a lot quicker. And so I feel like, Chase is super smooth in riding, and I feel like I'm a smooth rider. So I do feel like it's compatible, but at the same time, the way he likes his bike set up might be just a little bit different. But there's also some things though that you like, parts that you have to try that, whether I get to them first, they kind of know, what to give him, what not to give him, and vice versa. So I think the whole team working together that way is what helps us out for the most part. And we're in a better spot this year, I think, and we're going to continue to try and share stuff and get better.
Yeah, it's funny because last year Kenny and I were on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. We liked different stuff, and for me, I was trying to set my bike up a little bit similar to the 250, and it didn't work that well. So this year, I feel like we've kind of come closer to each other, and like you said, the 250 is now the same. So we've learned stuff with that, and then us coming a little bit closer together in bike setup has also helped with just trying things and relaying data and stuff like that. So I'd say this is probably the closest we've been bike setup wise, which is good, and it's easier for us to take stuff that we've tried and kind of relay it to each other as well as the team and move on and get better.
So you guys are talking about learning some stuff from the Lawrence brothers. I mean, like, is there an example of things that go back and forth?
It's more like we all learn from each other, right? But it's since the bike is the same, and if they come out to California to test sooner, they will learn stuff from what they tried and what they like and what they didn't like, and obviously visually see it as well. But they can apply it onto our bike since the bike is similar now. And ultimately, because to run through some testing stuff, it is so time consuming. Meaning, if we're more rider and we share information with each other, and we're all on the same bike, we can run through a lot more stuff a lot quicker. So I just think it's not necessarily even comments wise like, hey, try this, try that, but I think the team knows whatever they try there is a lot more relatable to us now and the 450 bike. So I just think we're able to use some of the stuff that they have learned with the 250 guys and kind of apply it to us and at least get a direction.
Well, and then that's all bike racing serious stuff. I mean, what about having those guys under the same tent? I mean, energy wise, you guys, everybody's cool and feeds off each other, and you're just like, leave me alone. You guys are like little punk kids. Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah. Well, Hunter is actually older than me, so
he is.
Yeah, he's a little bit older than I am.
Know that.
So Jet obviously is a lot younger, and he gives a little bit of. Well, last year at Supercross, I was with Hunter, so it was a little bit more chill, and him and I got along really well. And then Jet is a different story. He's a little bit younger and a little bit more wild. But Kenny obviously has his own bus, so it's kind of like us three. And then Kenny's obviously I don't really see him much on race day. So, yeah, I mean they're good, and it gives a little bit different energy in the semi when stuff gets a little bit too serious. You always have Jet to kind of fall back on and lighten the mood a little bit. But no, they've been fun, and I think we have a good team atmosphere and chemistry.
I honestly don't even know if it would work for people up in the semi, because it seems like it'd probably be cramped with 3 people, huh?
It's outdoors. It was a mess. I mean, you have 3 riders, but then you have trainers, you have agents, whatever it is. It's always packed in there. So I think it's better off that Kenny has his own bus, and I'm kind of wanting to go that way too. I'm trying to go that way faster than I wanted to, but I think
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it having your own space. And then those two will have the semi. But no, it's been fun. They're always super fun to be around. And Hunter and I have similar personalities. And then you have Jet, which is, like I said, he's a little chaotic.
He's just a one-off, dude.
Yeah,
he's just a one-off.
I mean, he acts like a kid, which is it's cool.
Well, he's not really that young. How old is he? 18.
18.
Meaning he's young, but I feel like in Europe, like when you're 18, you're not considered, like I feel like people over here sometimes when you're 18 years old, they think that the kid is like 13, you know what I mean? I mean, he's 18. Yeah. He could technically go off on his own. And
you guys grow up fast over there, faster than we do over here.
Yeah, so I mean, of course he's young, but I think Jet being 18, acting like a 13-year-old. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. It's just I used to be like that, like more hyper and like, you know, just kind of all over the place, and it worked for me back then too, so.
You're like a 30 or 40-year-old now.
Seriously, I went from being super young and stupid and wild to like, seriously, like a 40-year-old now, going to bed at 8:30, things like that. He never used to understand how, like, why I was running the way I was running, but now you're in the age where you're a little bit more.
Well, I was like too young when he was like more, I would say,
21, 22, 23.
Yeah, you were more, was it outgoing? Not outgoing, but like you just had more fun.
I was more
different, in a different
too.
fun. Yeah. And now I'm kind of in that stage where I'm like, oh well, Kenny, like, why don't you like want to go do some fun stuff? And he's like, oh, well, I have a kid now, so.
Yeah, it's so funny, and it's with anything, whether that is hobbies or whatever. He never used to understand how I was able to surf so much, and like, what's even so cool about it? And now he's hooked himself.
Yeah.
So when are you gonna get on his program of going to bed that early? And
I mean, I don't go to bed like super late. I'm not like a delinquent by any means, but now I go to bed at like 10:30, and I don't know. I would say I've actually, it's kind of weird. Like I was more like, what did you say, closed off before, and now I'm more open.
As an example, I could have been a few years ago, whatever. I could have been like, he wouldn't understand that, you know, having a beer or a glass of wine, and he would always say like, I won't drink until I'm 45 or something like that, you know. And then you get into that age, and it just starts becoming more normal. Like, okay, but it was like that, right? That transition, because Adam was the same way. He was since Arulo, he was like super shy, not shy, but like, you know, very like, oh my God, no. And then, you know, when you get older, having a beer or something like that is really not that big of a deal, you know.
Again, coming from Europe, obviously
we start younger,
and then I don't know how Jet and Hunter are really, but like, yeah, we're a little bit. I feel like we're just delayed and everything. We seem like we grow up slower than you guys over there. So, but yeah, now Ken and I are on two opposite ends. He's like has a family, and I'm kind of just.
That's the fun part though about different cultures too, right? Like, it's, you know, Europeans kind of stand out, and
we're just boring.
No, everybody from everywhere in the world wants to come to the U.S. and like be here, you know. So
it's pretty crazy.
Boring.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm the only American on this team.
That's crazy, actually.
Besides for Chance, obviously, but pro-wise, I'm the only American.
You're the only American on the team, and for me, it used to sound really far away being the oldest. And I mean, I'm like almost 30. Like, I'm in that stage where I'm kind of like back in the day, I used to make fun of Shorty, for example. You know, he was all uptight. Like, we had a lot of fun, but he was all uptight and like super structured and like very mellow, very calm. And now I get to the stage that I used to make fun of for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had it was a fly summer camp, and Shorty had, I think, 2 margaritas, and he leaned over to me and he's like, I can't feel my face.
Yeah, he loves tequila.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, are you wasted right now? And he's just like, yeah, I don't drink that much.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't drink that much, especially if you don't have food, one will get you smashed pretty quickly.
Yeah,